Hey there, I'm Jake, 42 years old. Life's been a real mess lately, and I need to get this off my chest. I owned this cafe, Jake's Place, for 11 years. Nothing fancy, just a little spot off Main Street. We made decent coffee and killer apple pie. I was married to Sarah for 15 years. Life was good, you know? Then the city built this new highway. Suddenly all our regulars were zooming by a mile away. At first, I thought, no big deal. Man, was I wrong. Profits tanked fast. First month, just a dip. By month 3, I could barely keep the lights on. And me, I don't handle stress well. Started bringing that crap home every night. New routine, plant my butt on the couch, crack open a beer, or 6, and stuff my face with cafe leftovers. Sarah tried talking to me, but I'd just grunt and focus on my drink. Sex? Forget it. Who's got the energy? Before I knew it, I'd gained 120 pounds. Yeah, you heard right. Went from big guy to holy crap in less than a year. Sarah started going out more. Meeting friends, she said. Looking back, I should have seen it coming. Then came that night. Sarah sat me down. Jake, she said, we need to talk. Long story short, she was done. Couldn't watch me self-destruct anymore. Said she had a job in Chicago and was leaving. Just like that, 15 years gone. I didn't even fight it. Just sat there while she packed. When the door closed, it hit me. I was alone. Next few weeks, a blur of beer and self-pity. Let the cafe go to hell. Staff quit. I didn't care. Then I almost burned the house down. Fell asleep with a cigarette. If my buddy Mike hadn't shown up. Mike's a real friend. Put out the fire, then punched me in the face. Wake up! He yelled, made me look in the mirror. I didn't recognize myself. That was rock bottom. Mike dragged me to the doctor. Got checked out, put on a diet, prescribed some meds. The wake-up call I needed. Now I'm trying to put my life back together. Hitting the gym, eating better. No more morning beers. It's hard. Some days I want to give up. But I keep pushing. Thinking of selling the cafe. Maybe start fresh. As for Sarah, I don't know. Part of me wants to call, tell her I'm changing. But is it too late? It's been a roller coaster. Some days I feel great. Others, I'm fighting not to dive into a pizza and a case of beer, but I'm trying. That counts, right? Started journaling. Therapist's idea. Thought it was dumb at first, but it helps. Gets the crap out of my head. Been thinking a lot about where I went wrong. Easy to blame the highway or stress. But I made bad choices. Gotta own that. But I'm learning it's not too late to make better choices. Every day I try to do better. Some days I win, some I lose. But I'm not quitting. I miss the cafe sometimes. The smell of coffee, the regulars, seeing people enjoy our pie. Maybe I'll open another place someday, or try something new. Always wanted to learn woodworking. Thinking about Sarah is the hardest. Sometimes I'm angry she left. Sometimes I get it. I miss her laugh, her support, her kitchen dancing. I miss her. But I know she can't fix me. That's on me. So it's been a few months since I last checked in. Things are different. Not perfect, but different. I sold the cafe. Wasn't easy, but it was time. Got less than I wanted, but enough to keep me afloat for a while. Felt weird signing those papers. 11 years of my life gone just like that. Still hitting the gym. Lost about 50 pounds so far. Still got a long way to go. But my knees don't hurt as much now. Started jogging too. Well, more like wheezing down the street, but it's a start. Haven't touched a drop of booze in 90 days. Some days are harder than others. Like when I drive past our old date night spot. Or when the game's on and all I want is a cold one. But I'm holding on. Got a part-time job at the local hardware store. It's not much, but it gets me out of the house. Plus, I'm learning about tools. Maybe that woodworking idea isn't so far-fetched after all. Still no word from Sarah. I think about calling her every day. Even picked up the phone a few times. But what would I say? Hey, remember me? The guy who turned into a drunk slob and drove you away? Well, I'm slightly less of a slob now. Yeah, right. My therapist says I need to focus on myself right now. She's probably right, but man, the house feels empty. Started talking to myself just to fill the silence. Probably not a great sign. Had a bit of a setback last month. Found an old photo of Sarah and me on our honeymoon. Spent the whole day in bed, just staring at it. Came close to buying a 6-pack. Called Mike instead. He came over, we talked, played some video games. Felt like old times. Speaking of Mike, he's been a real lifesaver. Checks in on me every few days. Drags me out to movies or to shoot hoops. Even if I'm not great company, he sticks around. Guess that's what real friends do. Started volunteering at the local food bank on weekends. Feels good to help out, you know? Plus, it's a reminder of how far I've come. A few months ago, I was close to needing their services myself. My doctor says my blood pressure's down. No more huffing and puffing when I climb stairs. Still got a way to go, but it's progress. Been thinking about dating again. Not sure I'm ready, but the thought doesn't terrify me like it used to. Met a nice woman at the food bank, Linda. We talked for a bit. Didn't feel like running away, so that's something. Still journaling. It helps. Looking back at my early entries, man, I was in a dark place. Not saying I'm Mr. Sunshine now, but at least I can see some light. Took a cooking class. Nothing fancy, just basic stuff. But now I can make more than just microwave dinners. Made a lasagna last week that wasn't half bad. Baby steps, right? Thinking about going back to school, maybe take some business classes. If I ever want to open another cafe, I should probably learn how to run one properly this time. Still have days when I want to give up, when the effort seems too much. When I miss Sarah so bad it feels like a physical ache. But I'm learning to ride out those feelings. They pass. They always do. Ran into Sarah's sister again. This time we talked. She said Sarah's doing well in Chicago, got a promotion, seeing someone new. That stung. A lot. But I'm glad she's happy. She deserves it. Finally cleaned out Sarah's side of the closet. Took me 3 starts, a lot of tears, and a whole day, but I did it. Donated most of it. Kept a few things. Her favorite sweater. The scarf I got her for our first Christmas. Not ready to let go completely, I guess. Got a dog, a scruffy mutt from the shelter. Named him Chance. Seemed fitting. He's good company. Gets me out of the house for walks. Doesn't judge me when I have bad days. Reconnected with my parents. That was tough. They had a lot of questions, a lot of disappointment too. But they're trying to understand. Mom cried when she saw how much weight I'd lost. Dad actually hugged me. Can't remember the last time that happened. Started reading again. Used to love it. But somewhere along the way, I stopped. Right now, I'm into self-help books. Cheesy, I know. But hey, I'll take all the help I can get. Thinking about the future more. It used to scare the hell out of me. Now it's not so bad. Don't get me wrong, I'm still taking it one day at a time. But at least I can imagine a future now. That's progress, right? So yeah, that's where I'm at. Still a mess, but maybe a little less of one. Still miss Sarah. Still have regrets. But I'm moving forward. Slowly, with a lot of stumbles, but forward. It's been about 6 months since my last update. Time flies, huh? Even when you're not having fun. So remember that part-time gig at the hardware store? Well, it's full-time now. Assistant manager, if you can believe it. Turns out, I'm not half bad at this stuff. Who knew? Still hitting the gym, down another 40 pounds. That's 90 total now. Had to buy new clothes. Went from XXXL to XL. Small victories, right? Chance, my dog, is still around. Best decision I ever made. He's always happy to see me, even on my worst days. We go for runs now. Well, I run, he sprints ahead and waits for my slow ass to catch up. Still sober. 273 days now. Not that I'm counting or anything. Okay, I'm totally counting. It's still hard sometimes. Had a close call last month when I found out Sarah's getting married. Yeah, that was a gut punch. But I called my sponsor instead of hitting the bottle. Progress, I guess. Oh yeah, I have a sponsor now. Name's Tom. He's been sober for 15 years. Says if he can do it, anyone can. I'm starting to believe him. Remember Linda from the food bank? We've been seeing each other, taking it slow. She knows my story, knows I'm still a work in progress. She's patient, kind, doesn't try to fix me. It's nice, still volunteering at the food bank. They offered me a part-time job, but I turned it down. Feels right to keep it as something I do just to help, you know? Took those business classes I was talking about. Online courses. It's weird being a student again at 43, but I'm enjoying it. Makes me think maybe I could open another cafe someday. A smarter, leaner operation this time. Had dinner with my parents last week. It wasn't as awkward as it used to be. Dad even cracked a joke. Mom didn't cry once. Baby steps, still journaling, filled up 3 notebooks already. It's wild to read the early entries, like they were written by a different person. In a way, I guess they were. Mike's still around. Best friend a guy could ask for. He's getting married next spring. Asked me to be his best man. I said yes, but man, I'm nervous about that speech. Saw Sarah for the first time since she left. Ran into her at the grocery store. She was in town visiting family. It was weird. Good weird, I think. We talked for a bit. Caught up? She looked happy. Healthy. I was glad to see it. She noticed my weight loss. Said I looked good. That felt nice. We didn't talk about her upcoming wedding. Didn't need to. Some things are better left unsaid. After she left, I sat in my car for a while. Cried a bit, but not as much as I thought I would. Guess that's progress too. Still have bad days. Days when I want to quit, when the effort seems too much. When I miss my old life as messed up as it was. But those days are getting fewer and farther between. Started a new hobby. Woodworking. Remember how I said I was interested in it? Well, I finally gave it a shot. I'm not great, but I'm learning. Made a birdhouse last week. It's lopsided and ugly, but hey, it's mine. Thinking about the future more. It doesn't scare me as much now. I'm even starting to get excited about it. Got plans, you know? Real plans, not just vague ideas. Thinking about opening a small coffee shop. Nothing big, just a little place. But doing it right this time, with everything I've learned, both about business and about myself. Linda's supportive of the idea. Says she believes in me. That's new. Nice, but new. Still getting used to it. Health's better. Doc says my blood pressure's normal now. Cholesterol's down. He actually smiled during my last checkup. That's a first. Still miss Sarah sometimes. Probably always will. But it's different now. Less of an ache, more of a soft sadness. I can appreciate what we had without drowning in what I lost. Started mentoring a young guy at the AA meetings, Joey. He reminds me of myself a year ago. Scared, lost, angry at the world. It feels good to help, to show him there's a way out. Reconnected with some old friends. The ones I pushed away when things got bad. Some were wary at first, can't blame them. But most have been supportive. It's nice to have a social life again. Took a cooking class with Linda, Italian food, made a lasagna that was actually edible. Hell, it was pretty good. Who am I kidding? It was delicious. Thinking about writing a book. Nothing fancy, just my story. Maybe it could help someone else who's where I was. My therapist thinks it's a good idea. Says it could be healing. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Still a work in progress. Still taking it one day at a time. But for the first time in a long time, I'm excited about what tomorrow might bring. A year has passed. Time's flying by now. Weird how that happens when you're actually living life instead of hiding from it. So, that coffee shop idea? It's happening. Found a small place not far from where Jake's place used to be. It's nothing fancy, just a cozy little spot. Calling it Second Chance Coffee. Cheesy, I know, but it fits. Opening day was last month. I was a nervous wreck. Linda was there, kept me from losing it. Mike showed up with a bunch of our friends. Even my parents came. Mom cried again, but happy tears this time. Business is slow but steady. I'm not getting rich, but we're in the black. That's more than I could say for the old place in its final days. I'm doing things different this time, keeping it small, manageable. Quality over quantity, you know? Still hitting the gym, down another 30 pounds. That's 120 total now. Had to buy new clothes again. Went from XL to L. Never thought I'd see that day. Chance is still my buddy. He comes to the coffee shop sometimes. Customers love him. He's like our unofficial mascot. Sobriety's still going strong. 638 days. Not that I'm counting. Okay, I'm totally still counting. It's easier now most days, but I don't take it for granted. One day at a time, like Tom always says. Speaking of Tom, he's a regular at the new place. Comes in every morning for his usual. It's nice to see a friendly face first thing. Linda and I are still together. It's good. Real good. We're talking about moving in together. Part of me is scared, but mostly I'm excited. Never thought I'd have this again. Still volunteering when I can. Had to cut back with the new business, but I make time. Keeps me grounded, you know? Finish those business classes. Even took some extra ones on coffee roasting. Figured if I'm gonna do this, might as well do it right. Family dinners are a regular thing now. Every other Sunday. It's not perfect, but it's so much better than it was. Dad's even talking about helping out at the shop sometimes. Still journaling, on my 6th notebook now. It's wild to read the old ones, like reading about a stranger's life. Mike's wedding was great. Managed to give that best man speech without puking or crying. Much. Linda caught the bouquet. That was interesting. Haven't seen Sarah since that day at the grocery store. Heard she had her wedding. Sent her a card. Just said, "Congratulations, I hope you're happy. You deserve it." Meant every word. Bad days still happen. Had a week last month where everything went wrong at the shop. Felt like the old days for a bit. But I got through it. Didn't even think about drinking. That's new. Woodworking's become a real hobby now. Made all the tables for the coffee shop. They're not perfect, but customers seem to like them. Says it gives the place character. Future's looking bright. Got plans to maybe expand the menu a bit. Nothing crazy, just some simple breakfast stuff. Linda's a great cook. She's been helping with recipes. Health's good. Doc says I'm in better shape now than I was in my 30s. Who'd have thought? Still think about Sarah sometimes. But it's different now. More like remembering an old friend than mourning a loss. I'm grateful for the good times we had, and I'm grateful for where I am now. Joey, the guy I was mentoring, he's 6 months sober now, comes to the coffee shop sometimes. Says seeing me run the place gives him hope. That feels good. Made amends with a lot of people from my past. Some accepted, some didn't. But it feels good to have tried, to own up to my mistakes. Linda and I took a cooking class together. Italian again. Made a tiramisu that was actually decent. Thinking about adding it to the coffee shop menu. Still thinking about writing that book. Started jotting down some ideas. Who knows, maybe it'll happen someday. You know what's weird? I'm happy. Actually, genuinely happy. Not all the time, of course. I still have my moments, but overall, life's good. There are days when I look around the coffee shop, see the regulars chatting, smell the coffee brewing, and I think, how the hell did I get here? But then I remember. One day at a time. One choice at a time. I'm not the same guy I was 2 years ago. Hell, I'm not even the same guy I was 6 months ago. I'm still changing, still growing. And for the first time in a long time, I'm excited to see who I'll be 6 months from now. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Still a work in progress. Always will be, I guess. But I'm okay with that now. Actually, I'm more than okay with it. I'm grateful for it. Thanks for sticking with me through all this. Your support, even if it's just reading these updates, it means more than you know. Here's to keeping on, keeping on. And hey, if you're ever in town, stop by Second Chance Coffee. First cup's on me. Stay strong, everyone. If I can do this, anyone can. And trust me, it's worth it. Every hard day, every struggle, every moment of doubt. It's all worth it to get to where I am now. It's been about 18 months since my last check-in. Time's still flying. Second Chance Coffee is doing well. We've got regulars now. People who come in every day know my name, ask about Chance. It feels good, you know? Speaking of Chance, he's still around. Getting a bit gray around the muzzle, but aren't we all? He's at the shop most days. Customers love him. Linda and I got married. Small ceremony, just close friends and family. Did it right in the coffee shop after hours. It felt right, starting our new life in the place that gave me a second chance. Still keeping fit. Lost another 10 pounds. That's 130 total now. Never thought I'd say this, but I'm actually in better shape now than I was in my 20s. Who'd have thought? Sobriety's still going strong. 1,003 days. Yeah, I hit the 4-digit mark. Had a small celebration at the AA meeting. Tom was there. He's still my rock. Business is steady. We added those breakfast items I was talking about. Linda's recipes are a hit. We're not getting rich, but we're comfortable. And honestly, that's enough. Still volunteering when I can. Started a program at the shop. Once a week, we donate all our day-old pastries to the local shelter. It's not much, but it's something. Family's good. Dad actually works at the shop part-time now. Who'd have thought? He mans the register on busy mornings. Says it keeps him young. Still journaling. On my 10th notebook now. Linda bought me a nice leather-bound one for our wedding. Said it was for the next chapter of our story. Cheesy, but I love it. Mike and his wife are expecting their first kid. They asked me to be the godfather. Me, a godfather. Life's funny sometimes, isn't it? Heard about Sarah through the grapevine. She's pregnant. Felt a pang when I heard, but not as bad as I thought it would. Sent her another card. Congratulations, you'll be a great mom. Meant that too. Bad days still happen. Had a health scare a few months back. Turned out to be nothing, but it shook me up. Made me realize how much I have to lose now. How much I want to stick around. Woodworking's more than a hobby now. I make all our shop furniture. Even sold a few pieces to customers. Thinking about maybe setting up a little display in the shop. Future's looking good. We're talking about maybe adopting. It's early days yet, but the idea of being a dad, it scares me and excites me in equal measure. Health's great. Doc says he wishes all his patients could turn things around like I did. Feels good to hear that. Joey, the guy I was mentoring, he's celebrating 2 years sober next month. Asked me to speak at his anniversary meeting. I'm nervous as hell, but I'll do it. If my story can help even one person, it's worth it. Linda and I took a trip. First real vacation I've had in years. Went to the beach, spent a week just relaxing, walking on the sand, watching the sunset. It was nice to just be. Finally started writing that book. It's slow going. Harder than I thought to put everything down on paper. But I'm doing it. A little bit each day. You know what's crazy? I'm content. Not just happy, but content. There's a difference I've learned. Happiness comes and goes, but contentment, that's deeper. There are still moments when I can't believe this is my life. When I'm locking up the shop or having dinner with Linda or just walking chance in the park. It hits me sometimes how close I came to losing it all. How different things could have been. But then I remember what Tom always says. Yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. Cheesy, yeah, but true. I'm not the same guy who started this journey, that Jake feels like a stranger now. But I'm grateful to him. Grateful for every stumble, every setback, every moment of despair. Because without all that, I wouldn't be here now. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Still growing, still learning, still taking it one day at a time. But now I look forward to each day. Now I wake up excited to see what life has in store. Thanks for sticking with me through all this. Your support, even if it's just reading these updates, it means more than you know. Here's to keeping on, keeping on. And hey, the offer still stands. If you're ever in town, stop by Second Chance Coffee. First cup's still on me. Stay strong, everyone. If I can do this, anyone can. And trust me, it's worth it. Every hard day, every struggle, every moment of doubt. It's all worth it to get to where I am now. Another 5 years have passed. Yeah, 5 whole years. Time's still flying, but now I'm enjoying the ride. Second Chance Coffee is thriving. We've expanded, believe it or not. Opened a second location across town. Linda runs that one. We make a good team in business and in life. Chance is gone now. Lost him last year. Tough day that was. But we've got a new pup. Rescue from the shelter. Named her Hope. Seemed fitting. Linda and I adopted. Twin boys, if you can believe it. Jake and Michael. Yeah, I named one after my old self. Reminder of how far I've come. They're 3 now, full of energy and mischief. Never thought I'd be changing diapers at 50, but here we are. Still keeping fit. Ran a marathon last year. Yeah, me, the guy who used to get winded walking to the fridge. Came in nowhere near the top, but I finished. That's what counts. Sobriety? Still going strong. 2,555 days. Don't count them much anymore, but that milestone felt good. Tom was there when I got my 7-year chip. Hugged me so hard I thought he'd crack a rib. Business is booming. We're known for more than just coffee now. Our breakfast menu is famous in town. Linda's recipes, of course. She's talking about writing a cookbook. Still volunteering. Started a program at both shops. We hire people in recovery, give them a chance to get back on their feet. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. Family's good. Dad retired from the shop last year. Mom throws the best birthday parties for the twins. Who'd have thought I'd see the day? Still journaling. Lost count of how many notebooks I've filled. The boys found my old ones recently. Asked about them. Told them I'd explain when they're older. That'll be a fun conversation. Mike's kid? She's starting school this year. I'm the cool uncle who sneaks her cookies when her parents aren't looking. Life's funny like that. Sarah? Haven't heard much. Last I knew, she was doing well. Her kid must be starting school too. I hope they're happy. I really do. Bad days? They still happen. Lost my sponsor last year. Cancer. Tough blow that was. But I got through it. Sober. That's what Tom would have wanted. Woodworking's a serious hobby now. I've got a little workshop in the garage, make furniture for both shops, even sell some pieces on the side. Who'd have thought? Future's bright. We're talking about maybe franchising the coffee shop, taking Second Chance national. It's a big step, but I think we're ready. Health's good. Doc says I'm in better shape than most of his 30-year-old patients. Not bad for a guy who was knocking on death's door a few years back. Joey? He's my business partner now. Runs our recovery program. 7 years sober and going strong. Proud of that kid. Linda and I try to take a trip every year. Nothing fancy, just a week to ourselves. Remind ourselves where we came from. Appreciate where we are. That book? It's done. Published last year. Second Chances. A story of recovery and redemption. It's not a bestseller, but I get letters. People saying it helped them. That means more than any sales figures. You know what's amazing? I'm happy. Not just content, but genuinely deeply happy. Sure, there are tough days. Days when the kids are driving me crazy, or the business is stressful, or I miss Chance, or I think about Sarah. But even on those days, I'm grateful. I look at my life now. My wife, my kids, my business, my health. And sometimes I still can't believe it. How did that broken down, overweight, drunk guy become this? But then I remember. One day at a time, one choice at a time. I'm not that old Jake anymore. Haven't been for a long time. But I'm grateful to him. Grateful for every mistake, every stumble, every rock bottom moment. Because without all that, I wouldn't have this life now. So that's it, folks. That's my story. From rock bottom to here. It wasn't easy. There were days I wanted to give up. Days I thought I couldn't do it. But I kept going. And if I can do it, anyone can. Life's good. It's not perfect. It's not always easy, but it's so damn good. And I'm grateful for every single moment of it. To anyone out there struggling, anyone who thinks they can't change, anyone who's lost hope, let me tell you something. You can do this. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Every hard day, every struggle, every moment of doubt, it's all worth it. Don't give up. Keep fighting. Keep hoping. Keep believing in second chances. And hey, if you're ever in town, stop by Second Chance Coffee. First cup's still on me. Always will be.